Sajidali, Dennis, Cassette, Jiraji, Dalo Musija, Pariana, Umar of the Nadi, Umar of the Nadi, Marpazanadi, 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 Marpanadi, Marpazanadi, Marpanadi, 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 Marpazanadi, Marpanadi, Marpanadi, Marpazanadi, Marpanadi, Marpanadi, Marpazanadi, Marpanadi, Marpazanadi, Marpanadi, Marpanadi. Marpazanadi, Marpanadi, 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 Marpazanadi, Marpanadi, 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 Marpazanadi, Marpanadi, Marpazanadi. Kurgunda de Shijing, Ubetana, Sherab, Retinum, the Pazimajim, Gumboja, Bayana, Chasu, the present of the bomb, choose it. Gumbo Jemedi, Keme Porianton, Warshu, Palezavella Maribuchi, Dagichu, Pime de Jula, Cotinci, Begunich. Kusum tuge ngujupta dus Good evening, everybody. I hope you can all hear what I'm saying. Can you hear my sound? There's some problem with the Zoom or some communication.
We can hear you fine, Rinpoche.
Okay, good. Very good. Very good. Well, then, tonight is meditation, which is, and I like to give a little Dharma talk before we do a meditation teaching, meditation practice. So now I think we need to understand what is Dharma practice, what is Dharma teaching, and what is Dharma practice. And when we begin to talk about Dharma practice, historically, and we can say by lineage-wise, and historically, it leads all the way back to historical Buddha, Shakyamuni, which is like more than 2,600 years ago, that Buddha came in this world, and then he achieved enlightenment, and then he revealed the teaching towards the path to enlightenment. What is enlightenment, in other words? So when we call Buddha, but actually that's not his name. His name was Siddhartha Gautama. And then when Siddhartha Gautama, when he saw the four major suffering, the birth, the old age, the sickness and death, then he thought this can't be really, the meaning of life. There's got to be something far deeper. What is actually the meaning of life? And then when Buddha saw the dead body, that before his father tried to conceal all the suffering and misery of life, and then when he saw that dead body, then he asked his charioteer, does this happen to everyone, this death? And he answered, yes, it happens to everyone. Whoever is born has to die. And whoever is born, also the old age, the sickness, the four major suffering of human being, it happens to everyone. Then Buddha thought that if this is the nature of our phenomena, that we are mortal beings, that we are not immortal, we are mortal beings, then what is the cause of being caught up, nature of mortal, I would say. I don't think it's called in English mortality, I would guess. I don't know. A mortality or what makes a person mortal and what's involved in the nature of mortal. And that's what when Buddha, search for spiritual practice, that he gave up the pleasure and luxury of the kingdom, being a prince, and then he went to search for the meaning of life, really the meaning of life. And then when Buddha went, first of all, his teachers were two Hindu masters, because in those days, at that time, there was only Hinduism in India. There was no other religion. So his two masters were Hindu teachers, where he learned uh, the Hindu philosophy, which is basically eternalistic, based on eternalistic teaching. Um, though Hindu teaching itself is quite vast, many different schools and thoughts uh, were presented in the Hindu teaching. Um, and also you can say Jainism is another Hindu teaching which doesn't believe in creator. Rest of the all Hindu teaching believes in a creator, a God, a Bhagavan, eternal creator. So when Buddha was presented and he studied under these teachers, uh, Buddha wasn't satisfied. He didn't find the answer what he was seeking for. Then after all the teaching that his two teachers taught him, and there was nothing left for them to teach furthermore, then he seek to discover by himself, where he went near Bodh Gaya under the Bodhi tree, first of all on the Narayana river, next to the Narayana river, 6 years of painstaking ascetic practice. And finally, Buddha discovered that ascetic practice is also not the answer. And I think, it's like when we think about that, it's like ready-made, custom-made for us, that Buddha has shown it so clearly that we don't have to go through his followers, that he has already been through that ascetic practice. And then after his 6 years of ascetic practice, um, then when the lady Sujata offered him the cream of the milk, and when Buddha consumed the cream of the milk, then his whole body rejuvenated, his energy revitalized, and then his mind began to experience the clarity, instead of, when the body is so weak and your energy is so low, and then you don't find, your minds get blurry, no clarity. So Buddha then discovered that asceticism is definitely not the answer for realization, because realization can only happen through clarity of the mind. It cannot happen in a confused or, like a toned down sort of mind. It's not going to happen. And then that's why Buddha understood that asceticism is not the way. But it was important for him to go through that at that time, because in India at that time, asceticism was considered a very important part of the spiritual practice. Even today, like if you look in India, asceticism is very important, where they go barefoot, walking barefoot, and like uh, sitting in the center and putting like fires on different sides, and to experience that kind of, some kind of intensity, like the American Indians in this country go through in a sweat lodge, and then you begin to see vision, whatever that is. So something like that. But Buddha wasn't satisfied. He didn't find clarity through the ascetic practice. And finally, when Buddha consumed the meal, his whole revitalize happened. So then after that, he went to Bodh Gaya. And then Buddha said, under the Bodhi tree. And then he said, already he was trained in the transcendental meditation. Like today, we call transcendental meditation shamatha meditation, which is, the word is used transcendental, but uh, Hindu teaching have shamatha meditation. Hindu teaching do not have transcendental meditation. But today, what you hear transcendental meditation, it's like a commercial sort of. Now it's become commercial, and I think like teach. But there are some genuine teachers like Goenka, who was from Burma, and his school of meditation on transcendental was very genuine, wonderful. And today a lot of people follow that, which is good. Anyway, when we talk about transcendental meditation, we are not particularly talking shamatha. Though today, those who say it's transcendental, they're basically doing shamatha. Even maybe not even to the level of shamatha. The word is simply used transcendental, but it may be just like, kind of like hypnotized sort of mind or something like that. So when Buddha was well prepared by his two teachers who shown him to the borderline, the last frontier of samsara, the mind of, there are four kinds of experience that one can achieve in mind through shamatha meditation. One is called infinity of space, and one is infinity of consciousness, and one is the infinity of non-existence, and infinity of either exist or not exist, infinity experience of that. And a person can have various different kinds of experience in our consciousness, such as experience of infinity. But experience of infinity doesn't necessarily mean that you have transcended, that your mind do experience of vastness, infinity, through the calm abiding mind, compared to our ordinary mind, where you feel so much conflict in, that whole dualistic experience of conflict, and it subside in that mind of shamatha through the shamatha meditation. But one is still attached to a space. So therefore it's called infinity. Why is still not a transcendent? In Buddhism, transcendent means that you even transcend from existing or not existing. If you have the thought that it doesn't exist, you're still attached to something. You're still attached to not existing. If you get attached to something, of course, that we have the basic problem. Every ordinary person, or in America, they say every Joe has that problem. But when you at the next level of mind that you transcend it, you feel open, but you're attached to the openness. It's still samsara. That's the borderline of samsara. You still haven't transcended out of the borderline of samsara because your mind is still dwelling in non-existence. So therefore, vipassana, truly extraordinary insight, is when you break through that, then it's become extraordinary insight. So then, going back to earlier, what I was saying, when we talk about Buddha, the word Buddha means awakened one. His actually historical Buddha name was I told you, Siddhartha, Gautama Siddhartha, not Buddha. Buddha means knowledge. Buddha means the wisdom, the knowledge. So when Siddhartha Gautama, when he achieved enlightenment means he saw the absolute clarity, the reality of nature, the reality of phenomena as it is. And when Buddha saw that, then people after that, you know, his enlightenment, he was called Buddha, means the one who holds the knowledge, one who is the wisdom, you know. Then he went across the border of samsara. He crossed the border of samsara, which is nirvana. You know, he crossed samsara into nirvana. So how did he do that? So, you know, we all know right now uh, we are trapped in samsara right now. We haven't really crossed the border of samsara. So how do we cross the border of last frontier of samsara? Perhaps you have not even reached the border yet. You may be in an inland right now, you know, and you have to kind of like make your uh, travel to go towards the border of samsara. And that's what we are doing, like when we do sitting practice of meditation. Doesn't necessarily mean that you can, you know, see the Buddha right away, but you are going on that direction, including your shamatha meditation. Shamatha means calm abiding. We need the calm abiding because without the calm abiding right now, our mind is just like in upheaval state, you know, upheaval of all kinds of suffering, upheaval of all kinds of conflict, uh, all the unnecessary things that, you know, that we create in our mind. So all this way to deal with this upheaval uh, in our mind is we have no other possibility, we have no other antidote except through shamatha meditation. The mind is not going to come down in any other approach or method because we tried everything, you know. So what we need to bring the antidote is to the three poison, which makes our mind unsettling and which makes our mind upheaval, tormented. Our suffering and pain comes from the three poison, which is ignorance and attachment and aggression. Those are the three poison. Why is it called three poison? The example is if you take poison, it can kill you. Same thing, when you live with these three poison, is bound to bring confusion and suffering into your life. And the seed of the seed is the three poison, and the result is the suffering. So as long as you have the suffering, they directly comes from the three poison, not any other place. They do not come from outside. They do not come from demons or Satans or whatever we label it. It comes from within our three poison. So therefore, you know, in the wheel of life, in the wheel of life, in the tanka, you know, or you can probably look through internet these days. In the wheel of life, there in the center part, and then outside part, and the very outside part, the three rims. In the center part, there is a rooster and a snake and a pig. That symbolize the three poison, how samsara, wheel of life, we are talking about wheel of life, how our life has become evolved. And the wheel of life tanka is a metaphor that our life begins from ignorance. And then, you know, attachment and then aggression. Those are the three poison. And then the second rim, you see the three upper rims and three lower rims. And then an outside perimeter, there's like 12 nidanas, you know, starting with the blind man, which symbolize ignorance. And then, you know, the 12 interdependent, how we take through ignorance, how we take, you know, the impulse and consciousness and, you know, form and feeling and taste and all those things gradually build up, and that's how we begin to manifest in samsara. How we begin to manifest samsara, I think it's very important to study the 12 nidanas or 12 interdependent. But the root cause of the 12 interdependent is the center that the pig and the rooster, the pig, the rooster, and the snake. And among those three, the pig is the main one, which symbolizes ignorance. So, so that being said, so Buddha means someone who is able to cut through that ignorance, the three poison. And once the three poison is cut through the practice of shamatha and vipassana, actually, I think you can combine the entire wisdom will come through shamatha and vipassana, actually. Our mundra practice are all part of the vipassana, you can say. Yeah, our yidam practice, dakini practice, lama practice, different tantra practice, sutra practice, all part of the vipassana, extraordinary insight, expression, various different methods, it means skill and manifestation. So you can combine the entire teaching, how a person can achieve realization through transmuting the three poison. Is you can combine into shamatha and vipassana. And for example, the highest teaching, such as Mudra and Dzogchen teaching, being in the awareness of the true reality, true nature of mind, the union of clarity and emptiness, or wisdom and compassion, whatever we label that, but basically it's the one, our awareness, the primordial awareness, or the three kayas nature, the three poison transmute, become three kayas, dharmakaya, sambhava, and nirmanakaya, which is the true awareness. So when we look at that, there's nothing which doesn't include within the awareness, awakened mind. All the refuge is included in that. All the bodhicitta is included in that. All the yidam practice is included in that. All the dakini practice is included in that. All the different various methods of yantra yoga, different levels of all practice are basically included within the awareness. Nothing goes out of that awareness. So, since tonight is a meditation teaching, I'm trying to emphasize that how our awareness, in the on the Dzogchen teaching is called about Samantra Bhadra, Kuntu Sangpo. Kuntu Sangpo means all good, because primordial nature is all good, without any stain. Only when we don't realize it, then this mind become trapped up, hallucinated, so to speak, delusion into three poison. Instead of seeing the three kayas, we see the three poison. But if we can see that, every thought, from we need to understand and experience and realize that it's not that Buddha is far away. You see, some people think, oh, right now my mind is so messed up. I'm full of anger. I'm full of, attachment. I'm full of jealousy. I'm full of this and I'm full of that. Maybe after a long, long time, then I will find Buddha, like after, somewhere far away from this planet, or something like that, something far away place, I will find Buddha. And even those who are not in the non-theistic tradition, if it's like a theistic tradition followers, they say, only when I go to heaven, which is somewhere up in the sky, so high, then at that time I will experience the godliness. Right now, I can't experience godliness. It's too far away. you know. And for Dharma practitioner, they may think, oh, how can I realize emptiness? It's too far away, you know. I'm so much, my mind is so messed up, so busy, so caught up. But actually, that's not true. You know, there is a Zen saying, first thought, beginner's mind, Zen mind. I think Suzuki Roshi wrote that book. Perhaps that sentence may be in the Zen teaching, I don't know, but doesn't matter, that is true. Beginner's mind is Zen mind. And first thought is best thought, so to speak. You know, so here we need to be a little bit careful when we say first thought is best thought. You may have a conception and that's the best thought. So then it's getting a little tricky. What it really means, you know, without contriving, without conceptualizing, when the thought arises, when you leave it in its uncontrived state, then they become liberation. That is Buddha, and that you have it, you know, and that's what we're trying to bring in through our meditation practice. The awareness, we call that awareness, the Buddha awareness, the enlightened awareness within us. So that's happening, and that possibility is always there. It's not for an iota of minute or second is separate from us, the enlightened nature, the Buddha nature. It is primordial, it has been in the past, it is now present, and it will be in the future without any change. The first thought, the best thought, or the Zen mind, the beginner's mind, or the awareness, you know, Rigpa. The Dzogchen teaching is called Rigpa, or awareness, you know. So the Rigpa, or the awakened intelligence, primordial intelligence, it's always there. It's just a simpler of question of seeing that or not seeing that. So therefore, on the path, why we need to practice mindfulness and bring that through our, you know, uh, mindfulness practice and bring that awareness in every situation. Like you have to train yourself, not only just when you sit and meditate, but like when you're walking, just give like a, you know, what they call crash course in English, or like a shock therapy, you know, something like you just, you know, you give a shock to all to your upheaval mind. You give a, you know, just like instantly, you just look into the nature of the mind, and then it can cut through with that prajna wisdom. So that is important. We need to practice. You see, no practice, no realization. So therefore, it's very important to practice when you get up in the morning, when you have your breakfast, when you go to your work, or when you meet people, when you talk with people, when you're walking around, whatever you're doing, bring your awareness. And then there is enlightened nature in every moment to moment, because basic goodness is the true nature of all being. You see, if basic goodness is not the true nature of all being, then you know you can never do that. You can never be transcendent. You can transcend from your neurosis. You can transcend from your ego. You can transcend from all upheaval or confused mind, because the essence is always pervading in everything all the time. Like in a mustard seed or sesame seed, you know, if you press it on your nail, the oil will come because it permeates with the oily nature. Same thing, all our thoughts, emotion premise with prajna, emptiness, you know. So therefore, uh, Buddha means, or Padmasambhava nature. Sometimes people, you know, when we think about Buddha, we think of like a golden body. That's our basic how we think. When we think of Padmasambhava, we think of, you know, like Padmasambhava wearing the hat and like that. But the true Padmasambhava is like, you know, awakened state. And true Buddha is an awakened state, directly relating with our mind. I think one of the early teaching I remember during one of the talk practice, I remember saying that what is eight manifestation of Padmasambhava? Or what is the enlightened activity? It's like we think, oh, here is my samsaric activity, impure, and then my enlightened activity, few miles away, and I can go pick up my enlightened activity. Few miles back is I leave my, samsaric activity. It's not like that. When you transform or transmute, whatever the English proper word is, when you see its nature, that very affliction transmuted is the enlightened activity. That is eight manifestation of Paramasambhava. There is no other eight manifestation of Paramasambhava besides his Guru Rinpoche's enlightened expression. So Guru Rinpoche enlightened expression and your enlightened expression is like 100% same. Nature of emptiness of Guru Rinpoche's mind, nature of emptiness in your mind is the same. Nature of clarity in Guru Rinpoche's mind and nature of clarity in your mind is same. Basically, the enlightened mind is same to all the Buddhas of the three times. That includes you, you see. So when you walk on the street, whether in San Francisco or Denver or New York or wherever, when you bring the awareness, you bring the awareness of all the Buddha. As I said, you may not be on the borderline. Right now, you may be in the inlet of samsara. And for that, you have to make the step of shamatha meditation. Shamatha meditation is the way to get to the borderline. Without that, you can't deal with upheaval. If you're trapped in an upheaval, there's no way you can get to the last frontier of samsara, right? There's no way. So in order to get to the last frontier of samsara, you need very special method, and that is shamatha meditation called calm abiding. Your mind into calm abiding, not miserable mind, not confused mind. It comes down confusion, it comes down the upheaval mind and takes you to the borderline of last frontier of samsara. Then once you reach that mind, with calm abiding, all affliction are not able to conquer you or trap you as powerfully as it used to do. Now the same affliction, you can tame instead of affliction taming you. And now you can handle that. So at that time, you're getting to the borderline of samsara. And then through the special extraordinary insight, the prajna, wisdom, then you're able to cross to the other side of nirvana. And then also you don't fall into the extreme of nirvana. You, through your bodhicitta mind practice, you transcend both extreme of samsara and nirvana. And that comes from the extraordinary insight, vipassana, Rigpa. The Dzogchen teaching is Rigpa. So therefore, the important thing for us to know, Buddha is really us. Buddha is how do you bring Buddha within you? That's what you need to understand. You need to discover. Right now, we have brought a lot of samsaric affliction, and we know that very well how to play that. It's like though it's none of our business. Samsara is just like never make any sense. It never makes sense in the past. It never makes sense in the present. Will never make sense in the future. But yet, it's a thing that we all like do it all the time unnecessarily. It's none of our, in American way of saying, none of our damn business. But it's just like comes to us all the time. We are trapped in this samsaric mindset. So now, who can, if you get caught up in this or trapped in this mind, who is going to take you out of this mind? Nobody else when it comes to mind. Only your mind can deal with this affliction and confusion. Nobody else can do that. And therefore, you need to do sitting practice. You need to wake up and then really find, the priorities. We have done so much wrong, so far in our life. We've wasted so much time. We have squandered our life. And now, whatever the remaining time we have, we need to really wake up and set the priorities in the right way. We do so many foolish things, you know. And I think a lot of that problem doing foolish things came from not seeing the mortality. You see, we almost think like we're immortal. That's our dictators, you know. Like they think that they will have, not only they will rule for so long, but then their own children, they can rule, and his children, and he can rule like 1,000 years. You know, didn't Hitler said like 1,000 years Iraq or something? How do you spell R-E-I-C?
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah, you know, like that. That's how people believe that. And when you think of yourself, you think, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. I'm going to hand it over to my generation, and my generation, my descendant will rule the world for so long. But that never happens because it's mortality. But the foolish mind likes to believe that normally. Foolish mind never sees the mortal beings. We are mortal, but we like to believe immortal. In fact, some of the kings in the past, they tried that. They want to find immortal, you know, and then live forever. But that never happened. You know, so if we can see mortality, and that also we have like very limited time left, and then it can inspire us to the right path. Then we're really going to see now what's the most important thing to do in life. Then you know, kindness make meaning to life. Generosity make meaning to life. Bodhicitta makes meaning to life. And needless to say, then, you know, there's so many doors open in the seeing the right thing instead of seeing the wrong thing. Right now, it's like we have 100 doors open for the wrong thing. Everything is coming out of affliction. So no wonder we have like immense confusion and suffering and uncertainty always happening in our life. Because all our doors, if you have a door on your head, confusion coming. If you have a door, every part is confusion entering all the time. Very little, some kind of sanity comes, but it's like insanity. You know, so therefore, in some of the teaching, it says that when in this decadent time, when beings die, mostly go to hell because of aggression, because of, you know, we have so, our patience are lacking, our tolerance are lacking, our sense of kindness and warm-heartedness, compassion. Let's not talk about bodhicitta and rigpa, way far out. Even like some decency we are missing. To be nice human being, to have some respect, you know, love and caring, that also we are missing. So therefore, a Dharma practitioner, we should, you know, like Buddha have given so clear direction from the Nyingma teaching to Kagyu teaching to Sakya to Gelug, as well as, you know, Zen tradition to, you know, in every Buddhist teaching shows the three principal teaching, Shila, Samadhi, the Shila, Samadhi, and prajna, you know, Shila, Samadhi, prajna. That principle is what can a human being can find joy, happiness in this life. And then when a person finally can achieve enlightenment through the transcendent achievement of prajna to true wisdom, totally transcend from all duality or residue of that samsara. The mind which collects, it can purify all the residue. So therefore, you know, meditation practice, shamatha and vipassana is the culmination of Buddha Dharma, is the culmination of your mind. There's no Buddha Dharma beside your mind. The entire Buddha Dharma is, you know, in coordination with your mind, the skillful mean shown how a person can get out of this ego, this dualistic trap, from this upheaval, how one can transcend. That's what Buddha Dharma is. His son is Dijum Rinpoche, in one of his teaching, he says, if you want to do Dharma, do it from your heart and make your mind a witness. I think there's a reason why he said make your mind a witness. Because there's no Dharma you can do beside your mind. And as I said, the entire teaching, for example, like 84,000 teaching of Buddha. 84,000 of teaching Buddha, 25,000 of the teaching is in coordination how to, um, uh, tame and liberate, how to tame and liberate ignorance. Another 24 or 25, I'm not exactly sure, the 84,000 teaching for 84,000 passions. So 25,000, 25,000, those teaching how to work with different level of affliction of aggression, different level of affliction of attachment, and different level of affliction of ignorance. And then the rest is the common, all those three, how to deal with it. That's what 84,000 are teaching. And then the whole 84,000 teaching basically is Shila, Samadhi, and Prajna. And then finally, when it's pointed to one thing, like one thing, the panacea for all is the ultimately Dzogchen teaching, introducing the Rigpa itself, the awareness itself, the enlightened wisdom mind. What is the wisdom? And for that, you can't just dive into it because you have so many karmas to handle, right? Even that essence is inseparable from you. It's inseparable from all your thoughts, emotion, affliction. It's inseparable. The wisdom is there. So as I said, right now, we may be in the inland and you need to walk towards the border of samsara. And for that, shamatha meditation, extremely important. How we have to reach there. And then we can find joy, happiness, make a meaningful life instead of all, living a miserable life. So it is important, meditation practice, extremely important to find joy, calmness. And then if your mind is well, then your body is well. If your mind is unhappy, then your body, even you're healthy, cannot be that happy. If your mind is happy, then everything will go well. So mind is the most important out of the three doors, body, speech, and mind. The happiness and joy of mind is the most important because it affects the rest of everything in our life. So therefore, now let's do a meditation practice now. Okay, so if you all sit in the right posture, comfortable posture. And then, meditation in one way is very easy, and one way is very difficult because, difficult because all those upheaval, all thoughts, when they pour coming out, you just, trying to find your place. So you couldn't find your place. So therefore it's difficult. But when you see its nature, you can just see like door opening right away. So therefore you need to sit and then you need to experience yourself. No one can do that for you. The joy you feel, no one can steal that away. Or the pain you feel, no one can take it away. Only you can resolve that. And the method is how to sit practice, so as sitting in the comfortable posture, and then your neck not up, not down, not stiff, slightly, down, and your hand like on top of each other or like on your knees. Best is to lotus posture. If not, if you have leg problems, sit on a chair comfortably. And then, uh, basic shamatha meditation doesn't particularly require Guru Yoga practice. If you're doing Dzogchen meditation, it's Guru Yoga practice is important, which means, generating devotion to the Buddha or Padmasambhava or Tara, whatever, and then dissolve one's teacher into oneself, and then remain. Or like in basic shamatha meditation, you don't have to do anything. You can just, just drop your mind now. Basically, that mind which is asking question, which is doing this, which is doing that, that busy mind constantly like bothering you all the time. Now you just drop it. Like, don't try to, like, oh, I need. It's like you love your mind too much. There's a problem. You know, if you take it too, some say don't take yourself too serious. So that's what we need to do in meditation. I think that's a good one. Just like all those thoughts, whatever arises, just see it and just drop it. So when you drop it, then we have expectation. We expect, oh, now it should make me so happy, so blissful, so, open and great and high. And that itself, again, we are putting, having that kind of expectation, it puts, again, a lot of, you are again asking for problem. Because in one way you're trying to get away from that, in one way, again, you're collecting it differently. So there's a saying, where there's a hope, there's a fear, where there's a devil, there's a God. So hope for the God and fear of the devil, or you, in this case, you let go of evil, but then you're looking for, and already it creates constraint on your mind. So utterly open, no hope, no expectation, like that. That's why he says in meditation, regardless of what kind of thought you have, if you have good thought, let it arise. You just watch it and leave it. It will dissolve by itself. And if it's a negative thought also, just watch it and then leave it. It will dissolve by itself. Like the ocean's wave. They come, you leave it, it will dissolve. They come up, it will dissolve. It doesn't stain you. It's like in the sky, clouds can come, clouds will disappear. Same thing in your mind, thoughts will come, you see that, you leave it, and it will dissolve. So that's the kind of, method how you can purify all your mental obscuration and all your, you can say, mental obscurations are karmic obscuration. So all those things, karma, no matter what kind of karma, may be so heavy, like, one, like the biggest mountain on this planet, or the whole planet may be so heavy you can have. But you also know the planet is made of atom, and atoms are subatom, and finally, like, atoms are just probability. It doesn't have any inherent quality. Same thing, no matter what kind of emotions and thoughts are there, they're all devoid of its essence, devoid of its quality, character, devoid of its character. It's utterly open. So when you let it be in that its true reality, nature, it purifies. So therefore, in meditation too, you sit, you just simply breathe out, breathe in, be with the breath, because that's your measurement. The reason you have to be with the breath is you're trying to get to, in actually what you're trying to do is you get to the frontier, the last frontier of samsara, is the measurement, so that you don't get distracted, that you're on the right track, take you to that last frontier. That's like, it's you got your visa to travel through, so to speak, something like that. You got your visas, the papers, and your carriage, everything taking you properly on that. That's how the breathing is. But once you get there, you don't need to, you don't need to, focus to your mindfulness mindfulness of breathing. Right now, you need the mindfulness of breathing, because without reaching there, you wouldn't know how to reach there if you don't have the mindfulness. And at the last, once you reach there, once you cross that, then That is a mindfulness. And that mind is called Nyungme Tempa in the Tibetan word. Nyungma means primordial mindfulness. Primordial mindfulness is non-dual mindfulness. Right now you have a dualistic mindfulness. So that's what I mean by borderline, the last one too. So without that, you will lose your track. You need right now mindfulness. But you can't take it too serious at the same time. So you simply breathe in, you make your mindfulness, and like, you know, as I said, no hope, no expectation. And one of, Chugam Trungpa Rinpoche said that the more the expectation, the more the problem. The lesser the expectation, the more opening you get. Right? That makes sense. It's true. It's in all meditation teaching. At the same time, in meditation teaching, it explains you can't make preference. Oh, this is a nice thought. I need to keep it. And this is a bad thought. I should get rid of. Both are treated equally. There are so many examples put. For example, he said if a red dog bites you and a white dog bites you, the injury is the same. There's nothing, white dogs bite will make it less injury and the red dog bites will make more injury. They're both the same. Same thing, whether you are trapped by a nice conceptual thought or whether you are trapped by a negative conceptual thought. Being conceptual, both are same. It will trap you in samsara. So therefore, your point is mindfulness. The moment you see thoughts, just see it and then deal accordingly. If you're doing shamatha meditation, you're breathing and then you see it and let go. Just simply let go during that. So during that time when you're doing sitting practice, you should totally focus to meditation. That's very important. Like you're doing meditation, then your mind is lost for half of the time, then your meditation won't be very effective, right? Anything in life, you need to put full attention. Otherwise, it's like a half-baked bread. We say you eat a half-baked bread and it's going to be, a lot of diarrhea. That's what's going to happen. Instead of digestion and giving you health benefit, it'll be the opposite. Same thing in meditation. You're just like trying to do some, and then you're daydreaming and floating away or sleeping. It's not going to help you. So therefore, when you're doing meditation, focus to that. And then in between, in post-meditation, train yourself. It's called train yourself. It's like, you go for training, whether you fly a plane or whether have a driver, before you become a fully trained driver, you go to learn how to drive. But once you learn how to drive, then you can easily drive without effortless like that. So you need the mindfulness all the time. So then sit in the right posture, sit comfortably, and then let loose your mind now. All those chattering, subtle mental gossip, subtle chattering, whatever it is, you need to see that. If you kind of one of the biggest problem for meditation is like subtle chattering or subconscious gossip. Of course, not conscious gossip, but subconscious gossip. Conscious gossip is, for example, you see a place or a clear, or that place is that, this food is that. That's a conscious, if you entertain in that, it's conscious gossip. But subconscious gossip, like gossip is like entertaining, There has to be subject and object, otherwise there's no gossip. There has to be two persons, for example, to gossip. So now here you're gossiping to yourself. So it's called subconscious gossip. So therefore, it's like a lingering thought, like kind of like a daydreaming, sort of floating, and you're like, not obvious kind of lingering, but subtle lingering. And that's called the thief of meditation. And that's not good at all. But the long run, that can completely take you away from the awareness. So therefore, when that happens, you need to, if you're by yourself, you can sometimes cut through that, through the mantra of pet, when you say, put, like a strike. I think in Japanese samurai, they like chop the head with one stroke. That's it. Of course, I'm not asking you to chop the head, but here you need to chop your thoughts, so to speak, with a pen. Pa and ta is a union word of skillful meaning and wisdom. Pet, there's two words, pa and ta. One is wisdom and one is skillful meaning. The union, which is non-dual cuts the dualistic, the conceptual thoughts. So, when you have some time like feeling a little drowsy, not very awakened mind, clear mind, then you just put, and it will open like a space, you know, and then go back to, again, sitting practice of meditation. But you should not do that like in, public uh, public place, or like in a congregation doing collective meditation. Only when you're in your house, in your room, then you can do that, so that you're just dealing directly with your thought at that time. And then that can cut through the thief of meditation, subconscious concept. That is very, very important in meditation, because that can happen to us sometimes. All this experience can happen as one own experience, right? Okay, so then let's now do meditation. Drop your mind, focus to the breathing, and just be simply there. That's it. Okay. So, very good. And so if you have questions, we can have some discussion here now.
So I just made it possible for anybody to unmute themselves if they'd like to ask Rinpoche a question.
Thank you. It's Alan here. Thank you so much for this evening. I was wondering if we wanted to visit India to see Dujom Rinpoche. Is that possible that we could go and visit him in India if we've been vaccinated? Thank you.
I don't know what's the rules, country rule, but his son Dujum Rinpoche is not in India. He's in China. He lives in Tibet, in China. So the whole rules of Chinese government travel restriction, I have no idea. And my understanding, even in India right now, I don't think it's open to tourists yet. So you need to check whether you want to travel to India or China with that government on the website. I don't have that information. But his solace is in China. He's not in India.
And lastly, that email address that we have for him, can we correspond on that email address, or does he not want to be contacted at all?
Which email address? Jim, do you have any idea?
It's an email address that was given to Pema Ossol Ling when His Holiness wrote a letter of thank you to Pema Ossol Ling in California.
I see. I'm sure you can write to them. I'm sure they will, send you an answer for that. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
On the letterhead, there is an email for His Holiness in India that we can use. But
And in India, for sure, he's not there right now. I know
there.
for
Okay.
sure.
Thank
He's
you,
in
sir.
China right now. But you can write a letter to Pema Ossol Ling, and they will be able to give you an answer.
All right. Well, if he would like to visit the United States or come to the United States, please tell him we would like to make that available.
Okay, very good, very good.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, Alan. Now, Aaron, do you have a question?
No, not a question for now, except to say thank you so much for your teaching this evening. It's wonderful to see you, and I'm glad to see that you're healthy. So
thank you
so very, very much.
Thank you, Aaron. Good to see you too. So, well, this year, I hope, the pandemic will gradually decline with the vaccine. And hopefully now, I'm really praying that, in one way, it's the collective karma of all human beings. We've been doing a lot of bad things, and then a lot of bad things means a lot of bad karma. And that's what causes this kind of pandemic situation or any other kinds of problem. And so everyone focusing more to compassion and bodhicitta, definitely we are contributing to, from a personal point of view, a sense of purification, and from the collective point of view, we're sharing that with other people. And that's how we can make the world back into a place of sanity and an enlightened world. So all of you today participating, when you do your meditation, when you do your practice, you're contributing towards that goal, towards that sanity, towards this well-being. And thank you all. And please keep your bodhicitta, your practice. And as I said, really, the Buddha is within you. Padmasambhava is within you. And as the first thought, the best thought mean the beginner's mind, Zen mind, or that how we cut through that affliction, the moment affliction arises, how we can cut through that and we can transcend from that, create the enlightened world, basic sanity. And that's very important. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Awareness is very important. Mindfulness and awareness is the key to that right now. Any other questions?
Please send our regards to Sokste Rinpoche, please.
Okay.
If people want to turn on their camera, Rinpoche can see you all.
I can't turn mine on, Jim.
So as I said, this year, I'm sure the pandemic will gradually go down. And then I'm also thinking of opening the center, because now many people have got their vaccine, and then people can come and study, and we have a library, and we have a, sitting place. So I was thinking of that now, to do a reading when is the right time to do that. And Margot sent me recently a message, you open the center on Sunday. So I was thinking of, we can now open up so everyone can have the blessing and the, as a meditation, beautiful meditation hall, as well as all the blessing and energy and study library. So I was thinking of opening soon. And also personally, I'm looking forward to seeing everyone in person now. It's been very difficult year, that, we couldn't see each other, but at least the good thing is we can see on Zoom and, internet. So anyway, I look forward to seeing you all. And in the meantime, please keep good health, do the right thing for your health. And then, and in your mind, you need to, constantly be inseparable with bodhicitta and you can achieve enlightenment in one lifetime. There's no question of that. Because you have the essence within your heart, in your mind, that you don't have to buy outside. You just have to be awakening to that. And for that, as I said, the way to go towards that is first is, shamatha meditation, and that will lead you to the borderline of samsara. And then once you reach there, you can cross with vipassana, with extraordinary insight. The Buddha is within you, no question of that. Sanity is within you, no question of that. We don't even have to have a doubt about that. In fact, who is more powerful, sanity or insanity? Sanity is more powerful. We just kind of give up. Sometimes we kind of give up to insanity, and this seems like overwhelming, but they are like a, paper tiger or sand castle. It is simply fall apart. It has no valid ground, no strength, no confidence. Moment you see through the wisdom, it will fall apart. So I'm seeing a lot of Buddhas here and Bodhisattvas. Okay, very good. Then please, everyone, take care. And so I have, spoken with Chris, and I asked her to teach on the words of my perfect teacher, and she also suggested how about teaching on the Longchenpa's Simying also, how to rest the mind. It's extraordinary teaching. And I did a reading also. It came very good that if she teach on that. So that's something I recommend everyone really. It's like quite a bit of course. I don't know how long it will take, but it's really going to be very, very great. I think there's one translation. Actually, there are few translations. Earlier translation by Tarthang Tulku Rinpoche, their book is called Kindly Bent on Ease. Well, that's Herbert Gunther, who is, I guess, a great Buddhist scholar, but his English is pretty tough. Kindly bent to ease us. And so there's, in other words, Tibetan word is Simying also, how to ease the mind, how to bring the mind into awareness. So it's a very special teaching. And so I'm going to setting up the date, and then she will give the teaching on Longchenpa's teaching on kindly bent to ease. So please, everyone, try to study that. It will benefit you very much. Yeah. And then in the meantime, meditation, and then your daily protection. Please bring Padmasambhava and Tara into your life. Those two are very powerful. In this Kali Yuga time, decadent time, dark age, decadent means dark age, when our passions and neurosis burning like fire, when chaos and insanity all over. In that time, like this boiling passion, like a cool water to come down, is really blessing of Padmasambhava and Tara. So whenever you have any difficulty in your life, bring the presence of Padmasambhava, and it will really like soothe them, and you can feel his blessing. But blessing you need to invoke. If you don't invoke blessing, it will not happen. It's interdependent. You see, we are like the ring, and the blessing is like a hook. So if there is no ring, the hook alone cannot do anything. It's like if the hook goes towards a boulder stone, it cannot, it's not the proper place for the hook to get into the ring. You need a ring. And if there is a hook but no ring is a problem. If there is a ring but no hook is a problem too. So we need both is as interdependent. So your devotion and compassion, as you keep, as you deeply, like through your meditation practice, when you begin to experience deeper nature of your mind, then your mind opens to non-duality. You begin to see that how everything is in ease, how you can find a joyful life in ease and without conflict. And at that time, all the positive qualities begin to grow. For that, you need to create that, because create means deal with this reflection. That's the main thing. As I said, you have the Buddha nature, you have the basic goodness, you have the sanity within, but they're like dormant right now. It doesn't have, because of the upheaval nature of our affliction and habits. It's like the sun is like surrounded by dark clouds, and you don't see the sunshine. So once we remove those affliction and obscuration, the sunshine is within you. There's basic goodness in every sentient being. As an example of that, many texts have explained sutras through tantras. For example, it explained about among the animals, some of the cruelest animals, we can say like hyenas, or like even like a tiger who would, without any hesitation, eat humans or other animals. But to his own child, it is tremendous love in caring. It shows the basic goodness is in life, is in the hearts of everyone. No matter how bad a despot is, he has love for his child. So it shows that, there is potential of compassion, potential of basic goodness lies in everyone. So therefore, we must fully bring that out through our practice of bodhicitta and meditation. And, those who are doing wondro, those doing meditation, each one of those practices will enhance. And then basically not only the practice, but the true practice is, finally, is your mind. So then, you need to practice that in your daily life, with your acquaintance, with your family, with people, with interaction, with everything, within oneself also. You need to work with yourself, your own projection, with your own mind. And then, gradually it will get more and more easier and gentler and more liberation. And then you will find joy no matter where you are. All the time, the conflicts will get diminished, which means the neurosis getting diminished, and then joy and happiness will shine through. So practice is very important. It's your mind medicine. We need medicine for physical thing. We need pills like doctor's pill or whatever pills you're taking. But for mind, we need dharma. So dharma is so precious. You need meditation, you need compassion, you need warm-heartedness, you need love, caring, respect. Those are very, very important. We have to practice that. So that's my request to everyone. And thank you all. Thank you very much. And so also some people who want Wondro transmission, I will be giving that Wondro transmission soon. I've talked to Tracy and Tara, so they can coordinate with those who want the transmission. I was told that some people want transmission. I will give that later, inform you about that. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Take
Rinpoche.
care. Okay.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Good night.
Thank
Good night,
you.
Rinpoche.
Okay, good night. Good to see everyone. Okay.
Good night. Thank you.